Live. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for another live transfer live video. With me today is Dash and Davide. How are you guys doing?
Oh, good. For Pete this week. I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me, Josh. Josh, you're number 2 now.
Oh, hey, ciao, everybody. Welcome to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. We're here to talk about Zanzuolio today.
Oh, we were gonna talk about Zaniolo. The title of the show is Kostic. So we'll talk about Kostic. Not the last time when me and Julian did a Zaniolo live and we talked about De Ligt and Werner when the news broke. So that was a mess. But we're gonna talk about Kostic because it's kind of breaking news. I don't know. First of all, I want to talk about Zaniolo because that's more breaking news in my opinion. The news is picking up a little bit. You know, Alfredo Pedula is pushing it that this week there will be a meeting. This weekend, excuse me. So I think that's breaking news. Other than that, have you guys have any other topics you want to discuss? So I can keep that in mind because the news today was kind of slim in my opinion. You know?
Yeah, it was pretty slim.
Yeah.
The only thing is what Julian put up there with the semi-automated offside for the World Cup.
Yeah, that was a weird one. We will talk about that because I didn't fully understand it, but I didn't read the article because I forgot. But we will talk about that because that's actually, if it works, that's actually I think a good thing because now it's kind of messy. You know, the lines it looks all blurry.
It's not done right.
No, it's not done.
Oh,
right.
absolutely.
In my opinion, also. We're gonna talk about Zaniolo first. It's a new story. It's from Dario Pellegrini, and I know probably a lot of people don't know who that is. I can say he's a guy who goes under the radar a little bit because he doesn't speak often, he doesn't tweet often, he doesn't get that mainstream. How you want to say that? Hype, stuff like that. But when he speaks, because I think it's the first time I mentioned him on the live, if I'm not mistaken. Because I want to make sure that he is kind of decent. And to be honest, he is. Even last season, he was accurate. So I'm going to bring up the news story. Before I bring it up, I don't think he's right this time, but I'm going to bring it up. So he spoke about Zaniolo. And this is what he said, basically. Oops. So he said that a deal could be found this weekend, basically. So he said Juve will try to close Zaniolo. Talks with Roma are entering a very important phase. Giallorossi have opened to a loan with an obligation to buy with stock of players, but the balance has not been found. On McKennie, I've not found any more news because it's not easy to fit the deal into the budget. And he also mentioned Arthur. He said Arthur to Roma could be a separate deal, not the Zaniolo deal. Until a month ago, he seemed to disappear from Juve's radar, so Zaniolo. Today, I understand that at the weekend, a deal could be closed and we could reach the end of this story. Dash, do you think we will find an agreement this weekend? Because I think it will be out of the blue, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so. It doesn't make sense because we see how our board normally moves. Because, like, for example, even when we got the green light for Zakaria and Vlahovic, it took almost about a couple of days for them to do it. So I don't think so. I think what's going to happen for sure is the loan with the obligation. I think that's what we talked about earlier this week, where like the only way that something like this was feasible was a loan for obligation because we weren't going to drop that big of a lump sum. And Davide and Justin also talked about it yesterday too. So I think that's the only thing that's going to go on. If it happens, it happens. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a full on 50 million purchase right over the weekend. I think it might just be, hey, Juventus and Roma have come to an agreement for a 20 million loan with an obligation to buy for 30, something like that. I'm still not a big fan for the total amount. I still think it should be less than the 50 million. I mean, I think for me, 35 to 40 is reasonable, but it's an easier pill to swallow if we break it up in, like, for example, a 15 million loan, and then you pay 25 million at the end. I think that's a little bit more tolerable per se versus us dumping in a high amount ready at the at the get-go. So, and I'm talking mostly per se for the economics, everyone in the chat. I'm not saying whether or not, he's a great player and we should totally sign him. Like, I understand his injury record, and that's one of the reasons why I'm very reluctant to drop the 50 mil right off the get-go. Again, just because of that. So I think with a loan with an obligation to buy with certain measures in it to prevent us from spending that much money if he does end up getting hurt. So that's the only thing I see getting done in the weekend is if the club's come in an agreement with the stipulations for the obligation to buy, then it should probably get done. But I don't expect a purchase whatsoever as far as a lump sum purchase over the weekend.
Before I go to Davide really quickly, Giovanni Albanese tweeted out that it will take some time to sort out a deal. So that's that. And people in the chat will talk about Kostic. So do ask those questions later on. Otherwise, we need to move back and forward, and it's not easy. So yeah, Davide, do you think this story is feasible?
I mean, this might be the Fabiano Del Valle of Vlahovic, say in January, where, I mean, somebody that doesn't have a huge name kind of comes out and just drops something. The likelihood of that, I don't know. I mean, me and Justin are probably getting a little excited right now because we're the only proponents, it seems, that are on for the Big Z. I don't know. I think there's definitely a level of accuracy to this, perhaps, because it's July 1st now. Things are rolling. Both teams obviously want to get their squad figured out because 6 weeks and they're playing their first match now. So things have to start moving. If this is legit, yeah, then for sure. We've heard this now pick up for the past week or so. Again, Carabini or Leverbene, they've talked about it. They've been keeping quiet with a lot of things. We don't know how much they've talked, how advanced these negotiations are. Man, send it by Sunday. Let's see Big Z in the team. I'll start ordering my new jersey.
Yeah, let me see. I needed that tweet out a little. Yeah, tweet that out. Okay, I don't think we will find an agreement. It's like it will be out of the blue. Like I will be shocked if I mean, it's not a story under the radar because I think the whole world knows we are going for Zaniolo. I think everybody knows that now. Wait, there's kind of breaking news from Pedula. Chelsea have offered
my favorite
70 mil for the Lake Plus bonus. So yeah, that's a joke.
Who cares?
Without players included. So yeah, the club is never going to accept that. At that point, you lower this clause and you keep him for the next season. I mean, that's weird. But yeah, the Zaniolo thing. It will be out of the blue, in my opinion. And I think they need time to work that out. I mean, if Roma say, yeah, we take a loan like Chiesa for 2 years or whatever it was, and then pay it over 3-4 years, that was news today, then maybe it could be done really quickly. I mean, if the club is looking for that type of deal and Roma says, yeah, we do that deal, okay, but I think the valuation is still up in the air. Like it's between 40 and 60. That's a big difference, you know. Maybe 50 is the middle ground, but I don't think the club wants to reach 50. That's the feeling I'm having at the moment. I think they will want something around 40, 43, 44. I think the feeling I have, that's the max Juve are going to offer. And I think that's the biggest stumbling block. I don't think paying it over 3 years in Italy with teams in Italy, I don't think that's the biggest issue. I think the fee is the biggest issue. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I really think the club's looking to put certain kind of stipulations on that obligation because we know what right now projections we're projecting it's an 80% going to be a loan with an obligation to buy deal for sure. So I think the options that the club are going to explore, because I know Roma's going to say, hey, you know, the obligation to buy Zaniolo is you guys finish in the top 4, you know, something like that, and he scores 10 goals. where I'm curious if the club is going to do it off an appearances based stipulation. So like the club will say, okay, Zaniolo has to pay or play 30 games for us to officially sign him over as the obligation. So I think that's going to be the thing that's going to be the breaker, because I think with Dybala, I think the club has the experience of, okay, we don't want to bring in a franchise type player and have him not play that much at all. So I think they're going to do something like that. If they don't, then that for me is a huge blow, and I just would be utterly disappointed. And again, I'm not trying to smash our buddies on YOLO here, but it's just we got to look at it from the business perspective. If I'm bringing you in at 50 million, I'm expecting you to play 30 plus games this season. That is without a doubt, and especially if you're being touted as a young, great Italian, you got to come in here and you got to ball out. There is no excuse. Like if you can't keep yourself healthy or if you have attitude issues, like we don't do that here. We're not some mid-table club where you can come in and do whatever you want. Like that's my thought on that.
If you want to hear something funny, or not funny, is that Di Marcio said that Monza are really trying to sign Icardi and they also want Dybala. So,
oh man, I would love to see that.
That'd be hilarious. As long as they can pay Jorge Antun's $20 million agent fee.
Yeah, Monza's going to be the new hipster team, like Venezia was last year.
Monza's going to be that team that signs all the washed out old guys that can't do anything and like try to push for top 7 but flop really bad. But if Icardi does go to Monza,
like Berlusconi has the money. Like, money is no problem for Berlusconi. You will pay that money if needed. But I don't think. Maybe Icardi. Maybe that seems something he would do, but Dybala's never gonna accept that.
Well, if they do buy Icardi, that means Edgar is gonna unsubscribe and join the Monza zone.
Yeah.
Oh, finally. No more Icardi comments under every video,
know,
even when it's not about Icardi, Edgar.
If we see a new YouTube channel called the Monzanieri Zone, it's Edgar.
It's Edgar.
The Monza Mumblings is what I'd be calling it.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe the news because it's Berlusconi, but I also can't believe it, if you know what I mean. Like it's. Yeah,
but the thing is, and I'm not very well versed in the Milaneso, but like, why did he sell and then buy another team and take them up to Serie A?
He was done. He was done for a while, like, and other issues, like kind of political, like a bit more deep. He was done, but then a few years later, he's back with Monza, Serie A, trying to build a new stadium. I think with the players they are targeting, they have a very big chance to stay up and become like the Sassuolo, the new Sassuolo. They will stay up. They will be around that place because the money is there. Like that money, no issue. Galliani is still top. You can see that he's still top. So they have the ambition, also building a new stadium, so they can do it. But I mean, it's what it is. The story. Also, Pedula saying Zaniolo, Roma wants cash. But they could take into consideration taking a young player. No McKennie, no Arthur, but a young player. I don't know what he means about that. Primavera or someone else because, excuse me, I saw the story about Ranocchi and I was like, how much million is he going to knock off the price? 3, 4? Like, what's the point? Like, surely you can pay that. Being Juve paying that 4 million extra shouldn't be the problem, If you insert Fagioli, maybe that's 50 mil. Rovella, maybe that's 20 mil. But they're not interested in them. They were interested in Fagioli, but from the rumors, Nikoshira saying Fagioli is going to stay. Also, I wasn't live yesterday and Arriva Bene spoke and I was planning to do a video, but something came up. I think he basically confirmed that Rovella will move on, in my opinion. Because he spoke about we're looking also for experienced players so they can be the Ronaldo for the new young players. And then he went on saying the young players being Sule, Miretti, Fagioli. So I think
by not mentioning.
Yeah. And also I said it in the week, like squad-wise, the list and all those things. For the list, it makes more sense to keep Fagioli and Miretti rather than Rovella, in my I mean, they're homegrown. They're not homegrown. So I have the growing feeling that the club will move on Rovella this summer. Does anyone disagree with that? Because at the start of the summer, I was like, it's going to be for Charlie. But now I think it's going to be Rovella.
Yeah, I always kind of thought Ravella would be at least that's how I would feel. That's how I would do it, because he just has the lowest ceiling. And if we're talking about guys that aren't going to be playing anyways, then I mean, get the guy that's most ready to go to another first team and play and get that money.
Yeah, Dash, do you think it's going to be Rovella? The club is going to move on? Because apparently we're keeping two. So one needs to move. At the start I said for Charlie, but now I'm leaning towards Rovella. What about you?
See, I don't know, because I mean, if I flip it, then someone's gonna pull the tape and be like, "Oh, Dash said this."
Well, I asked you. You can
That's
flip
part
now.
of it, man.
Yeah, no, because the thing is like, it's such a and like, me, the way that I look at analytics and stuff, like I want to see, first and foremost, I want to see how training camp goes. That's going to be the one thing for me. But I don't know, because Ravella had a great international campaign the past couple of weeks where he's been playing very, very well, and Fagioli hasn't really. I don't believe Fagioli played often. Again, I didn't watch the U21 or any of the youngster national teams, so anyone correct me in the chat, that's fine. But Ravella played very well with the youth Italian national team, which that should technically raise his stock up as well. But it's just, I don't know. I think what my thing is, like, we're sitting here sleeping saying that, Moretti's a lock to stay, but then like 2 weeks later, plot twist, Monza comes in with like a ridiculous loan offer for him out of nowhere. So like, I don't know. I still think Ravella has a little bit of a leg on Fagioli, but it depends on who's asking. I could see Ravella being the one that they ship out.
Because Hanine is saying
it's gonna. Sorry, yeah, it's gonna be a
you...
business decision.
That's
what I was
kind of.
It's not so much skill or who's ready. It's just what's the best business decision going forward.
That's what Hanine says. Training camp can change thinking. Allegri will have a say. Yes and no, because if the list doesn't allow Allegri's say to be determined, then I mean it depends on what we're gonna do in the market also. Because I believe next week, the week I start working, so I'm not very active on the channel during the day, it's gonna be a very important week. I think we will see Di Maria and Pogba doing his medicals. I believe, I hope so we can, move that. Also, training camp starts, so it will make sense they're there first day. So that's that. But I think next week we will hear Cambiasso, yes, Soniolo making big steps forward, and the leg closer to the Premier League. I hope that. I mean, I don't hope the Ligt leaves, but at this point, he's gonna leave. I mean, Arrivabene's words were super clear. Like, I don't think it was the smartest move to basically say, yeah, he wants out. I know we know he wants out, but like, it is what it is. He's out. He's out. So I think next week we will hear a lot of things, and I hope if the Ligt deals happens, I hope you hear that next week, because we need to get a replacement ASAP. Because today I read from good sources, Napoli-based sources, that De Laurentiis is now leaning towards giving Koulibaly the money he wants, which would be a smart move for him to do, because he already lost Insigne and he's apparently going to lose Mertens, or he's going to take a big wage cut according to Belgian papers. So I mean, at some point, you cannot lose everyone in one summer. Like, that team.
Well, Mertens, how many years does he have left in him anyways?
Nothing. He's nothing. He's a free agent.
But the thing is, he spoke to the Belgian media. Antwerp wants him. They can pay what Napoli will offer, like close in that range. But he wants to stay in Napoli. The thing is, Napoli didn't make really any offers. Napoli didn't make any offer. Like, not even 1 million. Nothing at this point.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Isn't Mertens their overall top scorer?
Yes.
And I mean, they kind of treat him like crap. I don't know why it's stay. Maybe
It's a weird
it's
situation.
it's how De Laurentiis is, man. Like De Laurentiis doesn't even care. Like he treats all of his great players like garbage. I mean, he forced Ancelotti out of the club, and then Ancelotti goes and wins the Champions League 2 years later. I mean, like
Yeah.
the guy, he's one of those guys. He's an egotistical owner that wants, I remember he claimed that he was the masterstroke of genius for Higuain, and Sarri was an idiot, and Ancelotti let the team run all over him, and blah 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 blah. Like that guy's a nutcase.
Sarri was the best coach for that team. Just with the cigarette hanging out of his mouth
Well,
alone.
and I don't mean to talk Napoli stuff on a Juve channel, but hey, Sarri's like, hey, I need depth. I can't compete with just 11 guys. And then De Laurentiis is like, no, I'm not giving you that. And then Sarri's like, adios, I'm going to Chelsea.
Yeah, apparently. Also, really quickly, Atletico Madrid are in the race to sign Bernardeschi. So that one game against Atletico a few years back was key.
Jesus.
Like it's a full circle at this point.
It was on Atletico Twitter, guys. You didn't see it. Apparently, Diego Simeone has Bernardeschi flopping for that PK above his bed frame every night. He looks at that and says, "Because of this picture, I sell watermelons on the weekend."
I can almost see it. I mean, this might be a bit of a stretch. I get it, but because Simeone is more of a defensive-minded coach, and Bernardeschi can track back and play defensively. Not saying he's doing anything particularly well, but he is that type of player. I can almost see it work.
Like they have much better players in that squad. So yeah, but it's not my problem. Our problem anymore, especially mine. So that's
the one news today that kind of surprised me a little bit is how little we're selling Veroni to the MLS for. I thought we could at least con the MLS for at least $5 million.
I mean, it's up to according to DiMarcio, it's 4 plus an easy bonus, so it will be something around 5. I remember when people said we need to sell for 10. I was like, nobody's paying 10. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think he's worth that much.
Well, I mean, come on, guys. It's the MLS. They're not the brightest bunch across the pond.
No, but they usually don't spend a lot of money in the MLS. Like in fees, wages, maybe for like washed up players from Europe who go there to chill. They do that, but like for other players, it's very. And then again, like the Atalanta player, what is his name? Martinez? Wasn't Martinez like the star player of Atlanta?
Oh, Josep Martinez.
He is. Like he was trash in Belgium and for Torino, and he's the main guy.
Yeah, I remember everyone was like losing their mind. My favorite was when they were talking. This might trigger a bunch of Mexican fans, but Carlos Vela, like he was like 29 years old and like was doing really well with LA, and that's when Zlatan was at the Galaxy, and they're like, oh my God, Carlos Vela, the most amazing player ever, and blah, blah, blah. And Zlatan said mid-interview, he's like, yeah, dude's here when he's 29. What was I doing? Oh, that's right. I was banging goals in Barcelona at 29.
I remember that. Let me see. No, I'm not a Britney Spears fan. No, I don't know who told you that.
Britney Spears fan? What?
Yeah, whoa.
No, I think what you're getting confused with is that Julian is a Bieber fan.
Yes.
He is. I thought it was Justin because Justin was talking about Bieber yesterday.
Oh, I think we just mentioned it again to make fun. Yeah, no, I'm driving that one because apparently I'm just a crusty old man because I don't like Bieber.
I don't like him also, but yeah. Let me see. So no breaking news. I mean, yeah, but not for us. Like I said, I expect next week to be a big week in terms of incomings, hopefully outgoings also, because we need that at this point. Because you hear rumors about Rabiot, Arthur, even McKennie, like all those players, but they're still here. Like there's no real offer. So hopefully that picks up. Let me see. Pedula, what he's saying, nothing special. Same news. We're gonna move on to Kostic because that's the thumbnail. It's a weird story. I keep saying it. Like it's becoming like an urban legend, like something we will talk about years back. Like, remember when we were linked to Kostic? Yeah. But the sources, they don't feel real at this point. Or like the news. So I'll put up the news on the screen. It's from Alfredo Petula. No, I didn't choose Alfredo Petula. Yeah, I did. Because he's pushing that because he's trained. So he and Fabiana Della Valle. So what Pedula is saying, he's saying Kostic has a 1-year commitment with Eintracht, so 1-year deal left still. We have been offering him a major renewal for weeks, but he's taking his time. The player also has requests from Spain, but he wants Juve. In any case, he will not wait much longer, another 3 to 4 days, and then he will evaluate something else. Yesterday, Di Marcio said it's cooling down, and that's it. Like other sources, like Fabiano Della Valle, but other sources are not really pushing that. Like when you ask Romeo, he's like, yeah, there's interest, but like nothing concrete. Compared to the other sources who are saying it's only 5 million difference, blah blah blah, all those things. So again, what do you make of this story, guys? Because I don't have the feeling we're really in for him, and that's why I'm like, even if he signs a new deal for Eintracht or goes Spain, I'm like, I don't think we missed out because I don't have the feeling we were really in for him. What do you think, Davide?
My big takeaway on this one is linking back to the Zaniolo with that report saying we're going to do something with Zaniolo in the next few days this weekend. That's where I'd make this link. If he's only going to wait 3-4 more days, well, that's the weekend. So does this all hinge on Zaniolo? And if we don't get Zaniolo, is this the plan B? I mean, we've never gotten clear direction one way or the other. I would love to see him in the team either way. I think, especially if we get him for under 20. I know the club wants 20, but if we can get him for, say, 17 even. And that's a good depth move. I would love to see it, but yeah, I mean, he can't wait forever. He's got to make a move, whether it's Spain, whether it's re-signing with Frankfurt.
It is.
So yeah, he can't wait. Like training camp started for everyone.
Yeah, before I like Dash go, I see new members because I forgot the name. Who did the giveaway yesterday? I forgot his name now. Someone did a giveaway of memberships, so thanks for them. He texted me, so I did thank him. I'm not that guy, but Morton, who is a new member but is not in the Discord chat, DM me on Twitter or the main account, and I will put you in the Discord chat. Same goes for same goes for everyone else who got a membership and is not in the Discord group. DM me on Twitter. It was Rat because he texted me. Dash, what do you make about that few days for Kostic?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Hussein Aouar 2.0. So remember summer where even our buddy Monblano was like Hussein Aouar, Juventus player. He said that back in June of, I think it was like 2020, or no, right after the Sarri debacle. So like he said that, and then we're all like waiting, and then like, you know, we had a bunch of other Juve YouTubers that were on the board on the thing too, where Hussein Aouar is like literally going to be a player, and then all of a sudden it's like he never ends up coming. I think it's a little bit like that with Kostic. I think there's two things. I think one, the club isn't really 100% sold on him, just because I think they're prioritizing Zaniolo, and I think they're looking at some other options as well. I think because they know that Kostic wants to come to the club, they're just going to be like, okay, you're not like, you know, our number one focus, so we're just going to table you over here for a little bit and look at some other options real quick. I think, you know, he's not a bad pickup. You know, if we get him, because right now he's currently valued at 26, and it's his last year of a contract, so if we go for him, if we're able to get him for 15 to 17 million, you know, no issue with it. I think he's a great serviceable player. My only question is how he's going to adapt from the Bundesliga to Serie A. I mean, he had a great 15 assists overall last season, which is perfect. As long as if he feeds Vlahovic those 15, I'm a happy camper. I think he's a good pickup, but I really think that the club is purposely thinking at some other options. And I think maybe because they're like, hey, if we pull in Zaniolo, we don't need Kostic. Because in theory, and again, I'm not trying to be a Zaniolo sympathizer, so like everyone in the chat, don't kill me in my DMs after this, but because he's younger and he is Italian, because the club is an Italian shell for Italians. I think they're looking at it from a long-term perspective. So if they don't pull in Zaniolo, I think that they're going to switch to Kostic. I hope we go and get Kostic soon, so then Misak doesn't spam us in the chat every 5 hours saying that we need to sign Kostic. But no, I'm just kidding. I love you, buddy. I love you, buddy. I know you're here, but we want to do that just so we don't get Discord messages all night. But it's going to be one of those things where I think the club has put him on the back burner, and I think they're like, hey, we have him in the bag, but we're not going to move on to him yet, just because we're going to see if we can get mediocre Z in the club first. And if not, we'll move on to him. But I don't think he's a bad pickup. I think he's a good serviceable winger. So
he is in a bad pickup. First of all, I'm not cheap, like David said. Cheap at all. We're doing giveaways soon if players are announced finally. But if they got announced, giveaways already prepared, so chill. And Giuseppe, thanks for ordering the shirt. So I'm wearing it. So happy you like it. If you want one, you can go to the Bianconeri store. Link for that in the description, or you can scan the QR code. It's on the screen now. So yeah, thanks for the support as always. We will go into the normal quotes a little bit. But Kostic, yeah, I think I keep saying it because I'm not sure. I think I mentioned his name in October, September, one of those periods. I have no idea why. I'm so confused why I would bring up his name. But I said on live I like Kostic, and I do like Kostic. Because I watch him a lot because it's on TV. The German league is on TV, and for some reason they show Frankfurt quite a lot. I don't know why, but it's Frankfurt, and they play good football with Kamara, Kostic. Like they have a good squad, and I think he will fit Allegri like a glove because he's a hard-working player, like very hard-working. He will do everything you say basically. But the story. Not sure about that. I see a new member in the chat, and I lost it. Oh no, it's Paulo. He's here. If you want to join the Discord group, DM me on Twitter, or the main account on Twitter. I'll put you in the Discord chat for members only. So yeah, that's that. And Giuseppe, if you want to join the live, DM me on Discord. You have my Discord, and I'll sort that out. So you can join a live soon, because that's what the members are all about, joining the live. Yeah, I'm confused
definitely get in on it. Like me and Dash, or some of the originals anyways, we've been in for quite a few months now, and like, man, it used to be kind of a bore because it was, just me and Dash. How exciting are we? And and Hanif just throwing stats at us. But no, there's so many new members now. Like it's getting really good. There's guys and girls from all over the world. The guys, especially from the Middle East, they're going for us all night long. We wake up, it's just fun messages. So first thing, wake up in the morning, man, you're already right at it. You got all the UFA chat coming at you.
Yeah, because it's funny because like I'll wake up and then it's like the same thing because like when Ali asks me to join the show, he'll like text me at like 3 a.m. US time, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, all right, okay, here we go. And then it's like I'll read the feed, and then it's like 60 messages, and then like every time I see Misak and Hanin's profile picture, it's like the Jesus Memblano. So I just sit there every morning just laughing while I'm drinking my coffee. But the funny thing about it is like I didn't know that I had to DM Ali to get in the members chat. So I've been a member since like I think like last year, and like I just messaged him recently where I was like, oh, there's an actual YouTube chat. I was like, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to promote that more properly, like better. I'm working on that because what the hell is this?
You see it? Well, I didn't do it during the live, so I actually did it.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I joined the members group, it was during Justin's daily like news video. So Justin, you sold me, buddy. I love you. But Yeah, I signed in on that, so that's probably why I didn't get the hey, DM him on Twitter, because I'd be surprised if you guys were like, oh hey, he got it off a news video.
If you hit the see perks button, it'll tell you how long you've been in.
Yeah, you can check that. Misak is saying they're in advanced talks for the lake. So the story I looked it up now, is from Nizar Kinsella. He didn't say it's advanced talks. He said talks are advancing. They're advancing for player A, B, C. It's not advanced talks, but I mean, they're in talks. I would say this. We'll go over to the Nomolo quotes now. Like a few, because people asked about Rugani. That's a rumor lately. Not Polo Nomolo. Like I saw that, coming up a lot the last few days, that the club is still hoping to offload Rugani. Mirko Di Natale, he said basically no. At the moment, no. With 1 year left on his deal, I said at the start of the summer when we lost Chiellini, I'm like, we need one, and hopefully we can move on Rugani and we bring in two. If you lose the leg, I definitely need two players coming in, and hopefully we can move on Rugani. I don't believe we're gonna move on Rugani. I don't believe we're gonna get two center backs, and for me that's kind of scary, knowing Bonucci's injury record. I don't want to be sitting here next season, and again, if you get Bremer and Koulibaly, but I'm still very skeptical on that. I don't believe we're getting any of those two. But next season, if Bonucci, let's say Bonucci's injured, and I need to do a preview with Julian, and I'm sitting here and saying, yeah, the starting lineup, the backup is Kimpembe, Rugani, I will be like, oh my god, right, this is not looking good.
If they sign Kimpembe...
Really quickly on Kimpembe, because someone in the comments came for me. I did not say he's worse than Rugani. I said, if you need to spend that money, and apparently they want 50 million, I'd rather do not do that. Because Kimpembe is not a bad roasted player. Yeah, no, somebody roasted me, but like, I didn't say that. Rugani...
Did they not...
You did not listen, yeah, because I explained me afterwards. Like, I did. But Kimpembe,
you were clear about it. I'll defend you there. You were quite clear. You corrected yourself.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I'm not reading the comments, but I'm like, it's not fair. Maybe someone is asking for information, but Kimpembe is not a bad player. But I don't. Every time I watch him in the big stage, I'm like, oh my god, again you're in the like you again. Like, how do you manage to do that? But for 90 minutes, he's good, and then I don't know what happens, lights out, and I'm like, why? Other than that, he's a good player, but the Lakers is better. Chiellini is better. That's my
and like I remember we like physically looked in the camera and said, hey guys, we're not saying Kimpembe is like a stick or a log. We just don't think he's a 1A center back. We didn't say he was terrible. He is known for flopping on big moments. So whoever made that comment, like, rewatch the video, and like we even gave a disclaimer before that. It's just like we said, hey, certain defenders were more experienced and we preferred them.
And what do you pay 50 mil?
Yeah.
As well. I mean, 50
mil. Like, no offense, I'm not paying a center back 50 million to assist Benzema in the clutch for the game-winning goal for the opposite team. So, like, just saying, whoever said Kimpembe, I mean, anybody's better than Rugani. That's not really much of an accomplishment. So, we never said that anybody was worse than Rugani, because that's like an insult worse than anyone's mother giving themselves an insult. So yeah.
What do you David? Do you think we will move on Rugani this summer? And do you think we will bring in two center backs if the league leaves?
I think it's a bit of an ask, especially since we haven't really been able to move on that front as it is right now. I mean, maybe the theme is that they have all these things lined up in the background and they have been quiet. But just from what I've observed right now, I just can't see it. We've been trying to get rid of him for years. We keep on giving him new contracts as well. So, I mean, he's just one of those guys. If he stays, I mean, cool. We got some depth. If he goes on loan, cool. I mean, we weren't going to use him much anyways. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it is what it is. Let's take
it's-
whatever we get. If we get the money, let's go.
yeah, it's one problem, man. It's $3 million. That's it, because his wage is $3 million for the amount of level that he performs, man. Like, you can't, unless he's willing to go to a mid-table Serie A club to start and make less money. It depends on him whether or not he wants to play. But put ourselves in Rugani's position. I'm getting $3 million to ride the bench at Juventus and still get thrown into the trophy list. So like, I can do absolutely nothing and still be classified as Serie A champion or a Coppa Italia. So like,
Yeah.
it's tough, because the thing is like, the only way that you would convince Rugani to move is if you offer him 3.5 or 4 million. But like, again, that's starter money. Like, that's like consistent starter money that plays well. So like, who's gonna give him that unless you ship him out to Man City or PSG or one of those like teams that they use that 5 million to wipe their behinds and it doesn't matter that much.
How about
So it's
Monza?
like, that wouldn't, that's actually funny, because like, I think we could ship them to Monza, even though it depends on how their wage structure is. If Berlusconi comes in there, we'll be like, yeah, take him for 5 million and forget about it. Okay.
He'd be great like as a starter for Monza. Why not?
Yeah, but he played terrible because he got loaned out to Caligari, not last season, but the season before, and was absolutely terrible.
Yeah. I mean, this season he did a good job, and people will remember the Villarreal penalty would change the game. And to be honest, I mean, it's a big moment. He messed up at that point. So you look at that. We did the same for Demiral when he did that against Lyon. So I think it's kind of fair. Like, we shouldn't brush that under the carpet, because it's part of his game. Like, he messed up in that moment, and I would say it cost us, but it flipped the game completely. Like, we collapsed, and that's not on him that we collapsed. It's on the team that we collapsed. But I think, like David said, we tried to move him on. We did move him on to Nice. It wasn't Nice.
No,
It was Rennes.
Lille. Rennes or Lille, one of the two.
It was Rennes, yeah.
Okay.
And then he came back to Cagliari on loan. He didn't play at Cagliari, like a few games, benched, and we're back to square one. He's back on 3.5 million, which is actually unbelievable when you think about it. Like, just the wages we handed out back then is like, I cannot believe it, because I was looking at the wage structure this morning, and I was like, oh my god.
Was he a Morata extension, a Beppe Morata extension? Or was he...
Morata. So he got an extension, let's say April, and in May he got a new one with an extra year. I never saw anything like that before. Like, he got 2 extensions in the space of a month.
Jeez, I wish.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused on how back then. But yeah, 1 year left. I think he's gonna walk at the end of the summer because of his wages. I don't hope. Like, I'm actually gonna pray that he's not gonna do the Shilio. I will say, yeah, I'll take 1.8 and I'm gonna stay at the club. And then people will say, oh, but he's a good backup. Oh, and I will be back here on the channel, be like, no, he's not. Like, come on, move on. Like, let's move on. Because we need to move on.
It's a good backup for what level our fullbacks are, though. Like, what are we judging it against?
Yeah, but
because we have to judge it against Alexandro, remember?
That's my point. Like, it's not the level of the squad is not good enough. So we need to move on a lot of people. It's not that. Yeah, Pellegrini is not that bad if you look at Alexandro. Alexandro's crap. Like, that's why Pellegrini looks a bit better. Like, they both need to leave if you want to go back to that level. And talking about fullbacks, yesterday Monblano spoke, and he said that Man City are in the race, and that they are putting Bernardo Silva on the table, but Juve was like, nah, what about Cancelo? And they told Cancelo's not for sale, which I don't believe that. And people said, I tweeted out, and people were saying Bernardo Silva with Pogba, I get it, but if you get offered Bernardo Silva, I think you're gonna take it as a club. Like,
oh, absolutely,
you're gonna take it and you're gonna make it work. I don't think the club is like, we get Bernardo Silva, and they were like, nah, what about Cancelo? And City is like, nah, and Juve is like, then we just want cash. Like, if you get Bernardo Silva, I think you take it, and I know you need to figure it out. You need to figure it out with Pogba and all those things. I get that. But I mean, it's Bernardo Silva. He is super underrated, but he's a fantastic player to watch. I don't think they offered us Bernardo Silva, by the way. But like surely
No, it wouldn't
take
make it wouldn't make sense. He's too much of an asset for him.
But he wants
Yeah,
to
and
leave.
he's currently
City, by the
valued
way.
at 80.
Yeah, he wants to leave
Yeah.
City. Yeah.
So
He wants to join Barcelona, but like Barcelona just found the money to get Rafinha. They still need to register Christensen, Kessie.
Found.
Yeah. But let's see. But yeah, like I mean, it's a non-story at this point, you know. But surely you take that as a club, like. Because Arriva Bene spoke how they do transfers. Basically, they sit in a room, they throw names at the table, and they think about it. That's what they do, apparently. Which I do believe, that they sit down, throw up names, and then someone will look into, is it feasible? Like, does he want to come? Yes. And then the numbers go to Arriva Bene, and he brings it to upstairs, and they figure it out. Basically, that's how it apparently works. That's how he described the situation. So yeah, Bernardo Silva. You said saying Bernardo Silva would mean no Zaniolo. I'm fine with that. Like
I'm fine with that. I would take.
If you-
yeah, it's cool.
It's like I would take Mahrez over Zaniolo.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
I don't know. Come on, he's more consistent than Zaniolo.
No, Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing. Like if you get any big player that have proven themselves, because Zaniolo hasn't really. He's just a big maybe.
Yeah. Well, so, and then I'm not saying that we take Mahrez over Bernardo Silva. If Bernardo Silva's on the table, you take Bernardo. But I'm saying, like, for example, if City's like, oh, hey, we'll sprinkle in, 70 million plus a Riyad Mahrez, and, I'll be like, hey, take it and run.
Yeah. I mean, that would definitely be like a FIFA transfer,
I know.
I don't know. That it's exciting. I think I mean, that 50 mil that would be spending on Zaniolo obviously would now have to go straight to center back as a result. I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. No, or what is it? We press the token. Juventus presses the token for the Elkin financial takeover, and we get $500 million in transfer money and just buy the world.
Yeah, if only they stopped doing that in FIFA too, though.
Yeah, they patched it.
Cheat mode.
I know. Darn.
So I don't believe that story, but I just put that out there because I mean, it's news. It's news. But yeah, like when I saw that, I'm like, the club said kind of no. I'm like, surely they not. Like if they do, and I know if they did. Excuse me. And I know we said like we need to look at what we actually need. So if the club said, if it happened to that point, and the club said no, we want cash, and City are prepared to offer the cash you want, I'm gonna say take the cash, because we needed the center back. I mean, we cannot do the same thing. But if at some point Chelsea is offering kind of peanuts, in my opinion, and again, the offer 70 plus bonus, it could be 70 plus, I don't know, 18 or something like that. That's also bonuses, and like get into top 4, get 5 million bonuses. Stay 3 years at the club, another 5 million bonus. Like easy bonuses. I think the club will say, yeah, like you're gonna achieve those bonuses. You're gonna get top 4. You're gonna play there for 3 years, seasons, and stuff like that. But it's kind of risky.
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't buy that. Like, for example, me, if I'm looking at it as the club, because like we paid 75 plus bonuses. Like, if Chelsea's not even matching the initial like fee, then including bonus, like I don't know. It's just like, to me, that's a half-assed bid that Chelsea's giving us, because it's like, come on, man. Like, you're going to give us that much and you're undervaluing. So, like, if they're paying less than what we paid for De Ligt, that means they're considering that his value's dropped overall as his performances go. Which, to me, it's like, no. I think De Ligt got better as he's played with Juventus. I think his value is even higher. I mean, I get it that he has 2 years left on his contract, but, like, come on, 70 million plus, 15, 20 million bonuses. We paid 75 plus, I believe it was like 15 million bonuses. Like, no, man, like that to me irritates me. That's like Chelsea's just messing with us at that point.
Yeah, I do believe that. And I believe that Morton, I added you to the chat, so you're in now. You can check.
That live as we go. Members coming right into the Discord.
Yeah.
I know. Just also hit that subscribe button because Justin said that we're 16 off of 3K.
Yeah.
So
like,
close.
Yeah, like, don't tease us, guys. It's just a nice big red button. Just go over there, caress it, and then just click it.
And then it allows you to talk smack to all of us.
Yeah, because we're gonna switch it to subscriber only on the chat. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it is. Yeah, the chat.
It is because at the beginning I
Oh.
didn't do that, and we had like bots and like weird stuff, and the bots still made their way in the chat with Julian. They were attacking Julian, the weird bots. But it is what it is.
Naked HD XYZ.
Yeah. those one.
Juve, I think that was a total price. Sorry to cut you guys off, but he asked 85.
85.
Yeah.
I don't know. His value is 34. And it's if you sign him, if you get him for 80. Yeah, it's a big value gain, whatever. But like, in the scheme of things, like even 40 is a win at this point. But like, you're not gonna sell for 40 just because it will look good on the books, And yeah, Mohammed, I saw your DM. I will do that after the live. I saw your DM. So that's that. We discussed basically every bit of news today. Nomolo said Luke de Jong was offered. He signed for PSV the moment we went live. He was presented basically. So, I mean, you're not signing Luke de Jong as backup, but still, that was the news. He said, like, if I need to bet on two names for the center back, it's Koulibaly and Badashile. He's pushing the Badashile thing for months now, so that's that. What else did he say?
Was this what he said too? I'm sorry, I don't read Cyrillic, so I'm not sure buddy's name here, but playing the 4-1-4-1. Was that I think he said it was a Momblano quote. I can't remember now.
No, I think
Nomolo.
Nomolo. Yeah, sorry.
He was saying that more in a hybrid, like it's not gonna be a 4-1-4.
No,
like it's more like a hybrid thing. I mean,
so what that is right there. That's if you do a 4-2-3-1. That becomes you can switch it into a hybrid where, like, when you're doing a high press, you put one of the pivot midfielders up and you leave like your center defensive mid in between your defense and your midfield line. That's more of a in transition. I've never really seen a team consistently maintain that shape on the field.
It's difficult, by the way, to maintain that. It's not easy. I still believe we're going to start with a 4-3-3 just based on the players we linked with, and Allegri basically teased that also in that Hassan interview with Barzali. Like, he teased that, so it makes sense to go for a 4-3-3. But Chiesa's out. That's the only issue now. Like, Morata's gone. Pedula Pedula also said there's still a chance. No, it was Nico Balucci said there's still a chance. And I do believe there's still a chance that Morata will return. I said months ago, if he comes back, it's at the end of the transfer window. When Atletico were like, yeah, nobody came in. 50 mil, take him.
Yeah,
I think the club will be like, sure, we'll take him. That's my feeling. I can be completely wrong.
Yeah,
but that's my feeling.
Too bad Vlahovic stole his number today.
Yeah.
I need a new Chiesa jersey now.
Yeah, you got to get the FC7 now.
Yeah, maybe.
Talking about that, like, a lot of people ordered, like, that was kind of like, oh my god. People ordered the Vlahovic jersey a few days back, and he changed his number, and the club is not doing a refund. That's actually like, that's not fair by the club, in my opinion. Like,
I know.
If you ordered it months ago, I'm like, okay, but like a few days, like, come on, you cannot do that now.
Yeah, I think Agnelli did it on purpose. That's
money.
that's such an Agnelli thing too.
Based on that, like that, the Arriva Bene, because I wasn't live yesterday. That was my main issue with Arriva Bene's interview, like he was talking about brands and stuff like that. I'm like,
You hate that stuff though. That
no,
puts you
like,
off.
yeah, I don't want to hear that stuff. Like, I don't care if some dude in Shanghai who doesn't watch football is wearing a jersey with Juve on it. Like, I don't care about that. Fine, I don't want to hear about it. Like, you don't need to push me that. Like, I'm a football fan. I want to see us win, and that's it. Like, I don't care that you signed a deal with, I don't know, like an Australian clothing brand. Like, that's not my. As a football fan, I'm like, it's already frustrating that I need to do calculations on money. Like, as a football fan, that's already the frustrating part. Like, imagine me needing to think about. I hope people in New York start wearing Juve jerseys instead of the Knicks. Like the Knicks, the logo. The Yankees, great logo.
Black and white stripes.
But I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's revenue and all those things. I get that. But me as a fan personally, I don't like. I want to win. That's all I care. That's all I want to hear. And he was pushing that for like a good. Like if it was a recorded video, it would be a good 30% of the video. It was.
But that's what he was brought in for, though. I know you don't care, but
no,
he's brought in to build a brand.
That I get. Like, I fully understand that. But then he goes towards the stadium stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, shut up. Like, shut up. Like, he was talking about, oh, it doesn't need to be singing and whatever, like flags. Instead, we can hear the kids talk. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not like the stadium is a separate thing. And he was like, oh, we want families. I'm like, great. Italian people will be happy to pay 300 euros to come with a kid. Like, nobody's paying that. Like, it was actually that the entry was like, okay, I like it. And then it took a dive for me. I'm like, oh my God, stop. Somebody stop talking. Like, and
pull the mic away. Pull the mic away.
It's scary that they came forward saying that, in my opinion, with the stadium. Like, the stadium is a separate thing. It needs to be fortress, and it's not a fortress. And yeah, we're not playing well, but we're playing away from home. I was at one game when he basically banned those fans. It was against Milan. Dybala scored. The Milan fans took over the stadium, and they were with 2,000. The stadium was packed. It was absolutely that. I remember Khedira previous times coming out when they were on strike saying, this is not good for nobody. We need that in difficult moments. Dybala said that. Buffon said that. Like, surely the club, like, they cannot be that ignorant, thinking this silent stadium is good. It's not good, in my opinion. And especially not in a country as Italy, where it's very difficult to fill the stadiums. I remember Bologna, Juventus, we were losing 1-0 at halftime. That like 75% of the stadium were booing the players at halftime. They were booing that, and the other part behind the goal, the fans were booing the players. And Buffon was asking the fans to basically calm down and support them. Like, that's the vibe, that's the environment you're creating, in my opinion, if you don't allow that part of fandom in a stadium, because I watch English everybody watches Premier League, and sometimes I'm sitting there, I'm like, the quality of the play is okay, but like everything around it's that. Like, I prefer to watch German football, because German football, packed stadiums, flags, and whatever Arriva Bene doesn't like. Stadiums are packed because the tickets are cheap. That's the issue. It's not fans with flags. The issue is cheap tickets, cheaper tickets. That's it. So I didn't like what he said there.
And that is a problem. That's a whole other rabbit hole, really, because they're trying to model most likely after the American style, where it's all making money.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, and I grew up watching hockey, but a lot of that love has been lost because of how commercialized everything has become. Like, you can't watch 5 minutes straight of hockey anymore because there's a commercial. Like a scheduled commercial break. And yeah, you obviously have to find that line where you're making enough money to be a global brand and making money so you can buy players so you actually play well on the pitch. But if it becomes too commercialized, that's always the fear. Hopefully it doesn't get that way. I don't see European soccer going. It's too traditional to really go in that direction as it is now. But yeah, I sense your fears, what you're saying here, that, I mean, if it's all about the money, if this is what you want to talk about, where's the football come in?
Yeah, and I think Arriva Benny's looking at this totally at it because they'll make more money off ad revenues and certain commercials and deals than they will over ticket sales. So that's where his head's thinking. Not that I'm saying that I agree with it, but he's one of those guys that looks at it from, because Formula One is sponsorships on sponsorships on sponsorships. Like that's probably one of the most heavily advertised sports in the world, because like you look at one of the drivers' outfits, he's got a Pirelli over here, he has an Adidas here, he has a Heineken here. So for him, I think he's looking at it from that perspective where he's looking at how can I get proper ad revenue and stuff like that. I think the club is going to notice if the stadium is empty, because the stadium does account for a lot of their revenue. If they're not making consistent sales, I think they're going to adjust to it. But because for Riva Bene, like he doesn't understand the whole stadium atmosphere, this whole stadium aspect of it. I think that's one thing, because Formula One, you have pedestrians, like you have people watching it, but you don't have 40,000 people concentrated on a 100-meter pitch where, like, for example, with Formula One, you have a huge track where everyone's kind of spread around. Or like, for example, and I'm not a Formula One person, but like, for example, looking at like F1 racing in the US where, like, for example, my city, the city of Detroit does the City of Detroit Grand Prix, where people are just scattered throughout the city watching the race instead of all concentrated on one spot. So for him, I think that's why he's just kind of like, oh, you could hear kids and blah, 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 because he's not used to having that much of a concentrated space of people. But for me, the way that I took it and interpreted it is he's looking at it from the brand, as far as the J Hotel, the J, soon it's probably going to be a Juventus clothing line, where he's working on that. And I don't blame him, because if you think about it, Barcelona, Real Madrid are killing every club at it. PSG is starting to get into that game as well. But like, for example, Real Madrid and Barcelona have been doing this for decades. Milan did to an extent, but Berlusconi left, so they're not really doing it so much. Because like, for example, you can go to a clothing store in the US and you'll see some kind of Barcelona or Real Madrid merch, and it's not even a sports store. It's just like a regular department store where you'll see something like that, which you got to give kudos to those two for doing it, because that's outside of Barcelona's reckless spending. But like, for example, Real Madrid, they're probably the best marketing out of any franchise ever in any sport, maybe besides the NFL, because everyone in the US just spam buys NFL gear and they don't even change their jerseys to just throw money at it.
And the jerseys, they're the most boring. Football jerseys are the most boring thing you can buy.
Yeah. So like, because like, for example, Ollie's a Steelers fan. I don't even think the Steelers have changed their jersey in like the last 6 or 7 years. So like, you could buy a Steelers jersey and just keep it and it'd still be relevant. But like, for example, the NFL merch is like ridiculous. And like all of our franchises, NFL franchises, are worth more than most clubs. Like they're all $5-6 billion.
I have some breaking news. Not breaking, but Nico Schira tweeted out that Juve have met with Koulibaly's agent, so Fali Ramadani, 20 days ago. The club will make a serious offer, an important offer, if De Ligt will leave. And if, of course, he doesn't sign a new deal with Napoli, De Laurentiis prefers to sell him abroad, which, it's no breaking news. So that's the news, basically. So confirmation from a good source that we are in for him. What do you think, guys? Possible? At this point, because it's a good source, finally.
I don't think it's really a surprise. They've been quiet. I've been saying this for the past, few days now. They've been doing everything behind the scenes. They just haven't talked about it.
That's something Riva Bene said.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's kind of proven the point more. So I've always kind of thought of it, but as soon as Riva Bene came out and said that, I'm like, yeah, I totally believe that's what's happening right now. So yeah, 20 days.
20 days ago, they met.
I totally believe it. Yeah.
So yeah.
Why not? They knew as soon as De Ligt wasn't immediately signing a new contract, but they had to start looking at players. So, Koulibaly is one of the most prolific names out there. Why would they not have made contact weeks ago?
If he comes in, like Hanin said, we have to try at least. Like even if it's not possible,
Oh,
you
yeah.
lose the Lake Kalini to try. But if you get Koulibaly, I will sit here and I'm relaxed. Like, fine, we lost the
Yeah.
Lake. I prefer to keep the Lake, but like, if you sell the Lake
We're
for
not stressing.
90 mil and you get Koulibaly for whatever De Laurentiis is asking for, I don't think he can ask for more than 4. I mean, he can ask for whatever he wants. He can do that. But the price is apparently 45. I don't think he can say, yeah, but for you guys it's 75. De Laurentiis, Koulibaly will be like, what the hell? Like, I don't think he's gonna do that. I mean, you never know, but like, if you sell the Lake, you get Koulibaly, and you have some spare cash from the Lake deal. I mean, for the future, it's not the best thing. You know, you rather have the Lake, but at some point, the Lake was about to leave. But if you can get 3-4 good years out of Koulibaly, that money can put into a left back or whatever, like another midfielder. So we need to go for it. Like, we need to give it a go at least.
Yeah, we gotta try regardless of selling Delict or not. Like, it needs to be a full-on effort, even if we don't sell him. Just because if we do get him, then that means we kind of have a little bit more leverage on the Delict deal, because we're not going to be like, oh crap, he's our only defender and yada yada yada. So replacing him, we're not going to get, teams aren't going to price gouge us, because, for example, if we sell Delict now, we get the 100 million. Say that we get a lump sum right away. Other teams are going to know, hey, these guys just got 100 mil from Delict. So that means we're going to up our prices right away. So we're going to jack those prices up. So whether it be Bremer, Koulibaly, anybody, they're going to push their prices up. So if we were to sell, like, for example, if we get Koulibaly, done deal, here we go, before we even get into advanced talks with Chelsea and actually accepting the bid, then that's going to give us a lot more fluidity when it comes to looking for a replacement, because technically you have your main guy in Koulibaly, and then like clubs are going to be like, okay, so they have Koulibaly and Bonucci, and this is in theory. I don't think there's going to be a way that we're going to be able to price gouge them, versus if we sell Delict and not have anyone in the background, everyone's automatically going to pump their prices up, because we're going to pay because we don't have the center back. So if we're able to get a center back before we sell Delict, I think that puts us strategically in a better place financially when it comes to buying the Delict replacement.
Home of you was saying 40,
Yeah.
45 mil for a 30-year-old defender. He has 1 year left on his contract. I get that, but he's a top player, so you still need to pay. Like, you cannot say give him for 20. At that point, Napoli will screw it. We'll take the hit. Yeah, just play it out for 1 more year.
And Kimpembe is valued at 50.
And he has 2 years. He has 2 years left, but like Koulibaly, Kimpembe, I mean,
I've obviously you're taking Kalidou Koulibaly over Kimpembe. Like, at 40, 50 mil in that price range, when you look what's out there, it's a lot, yes. But I mean, we're asking probably close to 100 for Delict, which is also a lot. So I mean, it's give and take a little bit. You'd have to go for it.
You have to go for it, especially when you lose Chiellini and Delict. You need to bring in someone he can do a job. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, I don't think you have a choice at that point.
Yeah, and if their agent is talking to us, do it. Start moving. That's literally the first step. Their agent is talking to us, so that means there's interest. So let's do this. Let's go for it. I'd rather get a report in a couple of days or whatever and say, hey, Arrivabene and Carabini met with Koulibaly's agent, and while the offer did meet their financial preference, Koulibaly rejected it out of respect for Napoli. I'm okay with that. Then I can move on. If, like, hey, we tried, they rejected us. Okay, I get it. No big deal. Let's just move on to the next option. But, like, for example, if we're sitting here and we're like, oh, we had contact, but we did nothing else with it, and then we sell Delict, that's going to frustrate me ridiculously, because, like, come on, man. Like, you got to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But Nico said that the club is prepared to make a good offer, like not 50 mil, but like a good offer. So I don't think they have any choice. I think that's it for today, because that was basically the news. Like the final 10 minutes were good news. Like I said, I expect next week to be not key, but like very important. Like, the moment you move towards training camp and the players coming back, like, that's when things start to heat up a bit more, because players need to make a decision. World Cup coming on. Like you need to get into your new team, as soon as possible. Like climatize and stuff like that. So stay tuned for next week. Like not next week, also this weekend, but especially next week on the channel. I want to thank everyone on a Friday night for watching. All the new members, I will add 2 more to the Discord now after live. For people who are not in the Discord group and are members, DM me on Twitter or the main account. I will sort that out. If you want to become a member, hit the members button. We will do a giveaway soon, maybe midway this month or towards the end of the month. I want to thank Dash and Davide for helping me out once again on a Friday night for me. So thanks, guys.
Danke.
Yeah, I figured that's what.
That's German.
I know
that's German.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like,
not
well,
Dutch.
because you're in Belgium, so like, is it French and Dutch, or is it just French?
No, it's
Flemish.
50%. It's 45% Dutch, 45% French, and 10% German.
I gotcha. Yeah, because I had a cousin. She just recently moved over to Brussels, and she's like,
that's
"Yeah, I
French.
gotta learn a totally new French
French.
language." I was like,
That's 90% French, Brussels.
"Gotcha."
But yeah,
I went to Belgium knowing a bit of French, hoping that I'd be in a French area. No luck. Didn't understand anything.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if you switch, like, I mean, in the Flemish parts, they do understand French. If you go in the French part, they have no clue what Dutch is. Like, no clue at all.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that.
But yeah. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, because we're very close to 3K. So do that. Hit that bell notification. And yeah, thanks for watching. We will be back with daily video stuff tomorrow. I think the next live will be on Monday. Unless something breaks over the weekend, then we will go live. But thanks for watching, guys, and see you soon.